Hey, this is Passy from Passy's World of ICT, the guy with the white hat. And this little guy here is our new helper, Murphy. Check him out. He's crazy. He's going to eat the microphone and do all sorts of things. Really well trained, as you can see, and completely mental. That's it, Murph. Okay, anyway, we'll take you away so we can do the video. And as well as a new little helper friend, we're also doing a brand new course. This is the Python programming course, and it's the first lesson in the course. And there are free resource downloads for this lesson as well. And people might be wondering, hey Passy, what are you doing Python? You're always saying that VBNet is so much better than Python. Well, you know, a lot of people have asked us, can you do a Python course? You know, can we do some Python programming? And look, I have done some Python programming with students before. So I thought, okay, well, let's have a good think about this and put together a Python course. And we're starting today. And this is the very first lesson in what will be an ongoing series. So in this introduction program, we're going to use the free Python IDE PyScripter. Just because that one was free and we'd used that before and knew how to use it. And we're going to write this program where there can be some input typed in and then it's just going to print out some output onto the screen. So you don't have to use PyScripter for this. Better choices might be to use MU, which is a good program that's the same sort of thing. They're all interface development environment tools that give you an editor and you can run your program and it generates a Python program. And PyCharm is one of the most popular ones, but we had a look at that and it looks like you have to pay for it now. We couldn't see that you could just simply get it for free like you used to be able to. MU you can get for free and we've used that. But for this lesson we're using PyScripter. But look, for this lesson and all of the other lessons we're going to do, you can use any of those IDEs at all. Doesn't matter, it's standard Python code, but we are using Python 3.7. So I think you'd need 3.6 upwards. You couldn't use an old Python like Python 2.7, that would not work. So you need to get the free download for the latest Python, okay? So if you just Google, the downloads can be easily found for these things. Now you don't need the 64-bit versions, like we haven't bothered installing them. We're just using the Windows x86 versions. And look, they seem to be running fine on our laptop, okay? Even though it could run the 64-bit version. Haven't really seen any point in doing it. And the results are working fine. Just keep it simple if you want and just get the x86 versions. All right, so you will need those things to get going with Python. But the best thing is that they are totally free. So you can just Google that and find the downloads yourself. Okay, now the step-by-step instructions which we're going to show you, which go through how to set up PyScripter. And then there's going to be two programs for this lesson. There'll be the Hello World program. Then we're going to give you a challenge task. And that's why little Murphy was here at the start, because the challenge task is going to be cats and dogs. All right. So look, this is a free PDF download for this lesson. So you just need to go to the video and find a link for that and download it. Now, speaking of the video, we are a bit of a slow talker. So what is the best thing to do is on the video player, there's a cog, kind of a round thing with teeth on it. And you can click on that cog and change the play speed to like 1.5 or 1.75x. It'll probably work a lot better because we're a bit slow. So, you know, change it so it's playing at 1.5 or even 1.75 and that will be all good. Okay, so the idea of this Hello World program is that a little box is going to come up with Python input and you'll be able to type your name in, like Paul Passy here. And then down the bottom of the screen when you run it in PyScripter, it'll have the what is your name, it'll have Paul Passy where we typed it in, and it's just going to say, hello, Paul Passy. So this is the classic Hello World type program. Then it also behind the scenes, it generates a Python executable program, which is saved into your folder where you save this program. So we'll also show you how you go in the folder and you can run that. So you can run the program as well from the standalone executable Py file. So same sort of thing. It says, what is your name? But there isn't a pop-up box. You just type it on this black console screen here, Bill Rogers, and it'll say, hello, Bill Rogers. Now, if you just leave it there, what'll happen is it'll bang, close itself and disappear. So you have to have this little trick on the end, type the letter F to finish, and we'll show you how to do that little trick to make it hanging around in the console and not immediately disappear after it is finished running, okay? So that's kind of the basis of this lesson, what we're going to be doing, just starting to learn PyScripter and write our first little Python program that's going to do both some input and some output. All right, now we're going to have a full course, just like we have with the other things in VBNet and Animate and Scratch and other things we've got. There'll be a series of videos you can do. So that's all going to be on PassyWorldOfICT.com, our website, /Python. So if you go there, you'll come up to Passy's World of ICT, just click on the index bar here for Python, and that'll take you to the Python page, and down there it'll list all of the Python programs which are in our course and which we're currently developing at the moment. There will be a challenge task. All of our lessons have challenge tasks, and the challenge task for this one is to make a little cats and dogs program. So the user's either going to type in dog or cat, and the program, Python, will cleverly figure out what noise it makes. So it'll ask them to type in either cat or dog in uppercase big letters. If they type in dog, it's going to say woof woof. And if they type in cat, it's going to say meow, and type the letter F to finish. We'll show you that little trick later. Now, if they get it wrong, if they put in an Australian hop-along kangaroo there, that's not right. It'll tell them, sorry, you need to type in uppercase cat or dog. All right, so we're also going to have some error handling and validation, which is another part of programming. So we're actually throwing quite a lot at you in this lesson. And we'll now go to the PDF step-by-step instructions, and let's work through the lesson. All right, these instructions are free, so you can get the download link in the video description. That'll take you to our website, and from the website, you'll go to the lesson where you can download those executables. Okay, so getting started with Python, PyScripter. So PyScripter is free, and it works okay. Now and then it's a bit buggy and crashes, and you just have to close it down and start it up again. But most times, 9 out of 10 times, we've found it's working fine. Now, the first thing is there's light screen and dark screen mode. So like this document here is kind of in white screen or light screen mode, where you've just got the white background and normal sort of font typing on there. Now, some people that are programmers like to have this dark gray background when they're working, sort of have it reversed around the other way, and light colored lettering. All right, now, if you've got Windows 10, is what we're talking about here, you can go View up the top and do Style, and you can choose Windows 10 Dark on the styles, and then click Apply Style. Now, the dark mode only makes the borders go dark. It doesn't change the inside here, unfortunately. So it's not like kind of Adobe Dreamweaver and other things where you just go to dark mode and everything's all set up dark. It only seems to do these borders, which is a little bit inconvenient, but we'll talk about that more later on. Now, displaying line numbers for program code. Sometimes you want to have the line numbers for errors and things like that. So it doesn't show them when you first start up. Now, if you want to see the line numbers, if you're a programmer and you're used to seeing line numbers in other languages, you need to go to Tools and then to Options, Editor Options, and on the Display tab, click the tick here to show line numbers. So it's going to show line numbers to you, all right? So it's just a matter of ticking that to turn it on, and we'll be doing a few other editor options later on, but that's how you get line numbers. If you'd like to have line numbers, you don't have to have them for our lessons, but if you are used to having line numbers, that's how you get them displayed. Now, changing the theme. When you're running this on a network system, like at a school where I was working for my day job, none of the themes were there when they sort of rolled it out on the network to the students. So I found, though, that if you download it at home onto your own device, you do have all these great themes here with different color schemes, and you can get that kind of dark gray screen with light writing and things like that. But we don't have it. So if it's not there, when you go to your editor options color theme, if you don't have any themes there because you're doing this at school on some school system or something like that, not to worry. We'll just show you a little trick how to change the editor background color, because we don't like having white. We wanted to sort of have a gray color here. So in those same editor options, you can click on syntax colors, and if you go down to space in all these elements, all right, click on space, then you can select a color. So you can see with the color picker here, we've just gone down onto our color picker. By the way, that one there is transparent. That's what it is when you see that white background. It's completely see-through. But if you click on the colors down here, we just clicked a gray color. All right, so we just used the down arrow on this, clicked ourselves a gray color and sort of got this gray color on there and clicked OK. Now, the important thing is don't click a color that's already being used by one of these fonts in the Python language. So if you chose dark blue, which would look great as a background possibly, see all this import and class conversions, you won't be able to see them anymore because they're already in dark blue. Okay, so you can't pick one of these colors which is showing on the screen basically. So you're a little bit limited, but gray is one which will work if you do not have the themes. If you have the themes, just go for it and pick a really good, nice theme that you like the look of. All right, so we're ready to start a new Python project. So it doesn't matter whether you're using PyScripter, MU, or PyCharm, it'll all be pretty much the same thing. It's a matter of going File, New, and we want a new Python module, okay? So you click on that. Now, when you click on it, a default project always opens up like this. Now, we don't really want to use what's here, this code. So I don't know why, but it thinks it's being useful giving us this code. So we're just going to change most of this and delete it out. So you can just color it in with your mouse, edit it just like you would in Microsoft Word or anything else, and remove most of those codes. We've just changed it. So we've just got those comments up the top. So this little hash sign or pound sign here or number symbol, that means that Python won't do that code. So this is where you can write like a heading for your program, and Python's not going to try and do it, but it's very important that you put the number sign in this column 1 position here first. Okay, so we've just got that and got rid of most of it and just had this. All right, so we've got PyScripter running here, so I'll just show you. Like if I do File, New, and New Python Module, see how it's put all this stuff in? So I'm just going to highlight that with my mouse and press backspace and get rid of it. I'm just going to mainly get rid of all of this stuff too. So I just highlight it and do a backspace. And I'll just say the name here is Hello World. All right, so that's all going to be just ignored. That just comments. That's where you usually put a heading. You always should put a heading at the top of your program like that. Okay, so that's got our program started, just telling people that are looking at it what the program is. All right, now the Hello World program, we're going to add some code that's going to ask someone to type in their name and the computer's going to say hello to them. All right, so this is the first type of programming people learn in any programming language, and this is called the classic Hello World program. All right, now there's an important thing about indenting from the left margin, which should be 4 spaces, and we're going to talk about that more. And you use the tab key. If you haven't used that much before, usually somewhere around your caps lock key area on the keyboard, above that there's a key called tab, and we're going to be using that one, and that pushes everything in from the left 4 spaces, okay? So if it indents too far, it's not going to like it. So this is the program we're typing in. So it's def main brackets. Then you need double dots here, and we'll explain what all this is shortly, but let's just start typing it in. So we need def main, then we need brackets, and it's closed the brackets for us. Then we need a double dots, and it's doing them all the same color, and that looks good. Now, when you press the enter key on your keyboard, notice how it has jumped in here from the left. And if you want to go backwards, you hold down Shift and press the Tab key, and it will go back 4 spaces. But where it should be, we'll push the Tab key now to move it across, is it's across 4 spaces, all right? And so it needs to put the next line of code there. And our next line of code that we need is person name equals input. So we're going to get some input. It's going to go into a memory variable called person name. And as well as getting the input, of course, we need to tell them what we want them to type in. We don't want their age or what their favorite car is. We want to know what is your name. Okay, so that's got to be in quotes and that's got to be in brackets. Okay, so person name equals input. So let's have a go at this. So we put person name, and don't have spaces there, equals, then we need an input, then some brackets, then quotes, what is your name, and a question mark, and it's already closed the brackets for us. Okay, so we're putting that in, and if we go back and have a look, that should all be fine, all right? Now, if you run your program at this stage, so this green arrow up the top runs it, so let's click the green arrow. What will happen? Nothing will happen yet. Okay, so we click the green arrow and nothing's happening. Down the bottom here, it just says the remote interpreter was reinitialized. Now, why it hasn't happened is this def main is like a little subtask, all right? So think of this like if we were doing a recipe to cook some stir fry, okay? We might have some sub-processes, like, so sub-process 1 or def 1 that we define, the first definition we do is getting the vegetables we need, probably out of the fridge for most people, all right? So we'd have a procedure get vegetables, and in that sub-procedure you'd have to detail which vegetables you want. You want some capsicum, you wanted some spring onions, you wanted some spinach because that's really nice in stir fries. Maybe you wanted some Chinese broccoli or regular broccoli, that's nice in stir fries. You wanted some onion, did I say onion already? Okay, so you'd be getting all those things out. So that's getting the vegetables ready. Then we'd have another sub-process which was called, let's say, cutting up the vegetables. And we want to cut up the capsicum into, I don't know, little 1 inch, 2 centimeter lengths. The carrots, we want to chop them up into maybe, I don't know, 5 centimeters and then julienne them, the way you cut them long ways and stuff and make them really skinny. So that would be the next thing. And the third thing might be that we need to get some spices ready, like some garlic and some ginger and those sort of things, and some chili, of course, chili to add in as well. So we'd have all these separate little sub-processes. Then down the bottom of our program, let's just do this. So we're going to do Shift Tab here so that we're right in the left. So we're going to have to do main and tell it to actually do that sub-process. So if we're doing our recipe, like we'd have a process, get veggies, okay, and we'd have another one called chop veggies. And in these definitions, which we'd put up the top of the program, it would have the instructions for doing that. And then we'd have get spices. Okay, so we have to have a list of all the things we need to do or it won't do them, is how it works. So let's just take those out because we're not actually cooking a stir fry, we're cooking up a hello world program here. So we have to actually say, okay, this is what main's going to do, and we've only just started, we haven't done everything yet. And down the bottom we have a list of all the things that we've made defs for or sub-procedures. So we have to actually do main, all right? Hopefully this hasn't been too complicated. If you don't understand it today, don't worry, we'll be doing lots and lots more of this in pretty much every Python lesson we do from here on in. We'll have these subroutine defs and you'll have to list them down the bottom, what order you want the little subroutines done in. Okay, so let's try run it now, and it will run, and it's doing that thing. It's doing the input, telling us what is your name, and we can type our name in, Passy Stir Fry Boy. Okay, and we click OK, and that's it, because that's the only instruction we got in the program. So we need to get the rest of those instructions in there. Now here's one I prepared earlier. All right, so now we need this if and this else and this print and all this stuff. Okay, so let's go through what that is all about. All right, so it's one thing to get the person's name, but what if they just press enter when that box comes up? So what they can do is, we'll just run this finished version. They could just decide not to enter any name and just press the enter key. And of course, then down the bottom here is where the output comes out in the very bottom left-hand corner. It's telling us a blank name is invalid, all right? So we need to pick it up if they make a mistake and don't type anything in. So up here, we've got this if statement. We've got if the person name equals a pair of quotes. So if there's quotes with nothing in it, so if they've typed in nothing, print out a blank name is invalid. And you can see that's exactly what it did here. What is your name? We just left it blank and pressed enter. And so it has picked that up and it has printed out a blank name is invalid. Now we do have to use double equals here in Python, okay? So that's just a little thing you have to know in Python. So if the person name double equals this value, print that. And then we have this else statement. Now the else statement means otherwise or instead of. So if it isn't blank, well then things are good. So we just want to print out the word hello and add on to that the person name that got typed in. Okay, so that's how when you run it here, if you put in Jono for your name and click OK, down the very bottom left-hand corner, see what is your name? Jono. Hello, Jono. All right, so it's printed out the word hello, plus it's added onto it the person name that got put in, and the person name that got put in was Jono. All right, so that's actually all of the code for our first little Python program called a Hello World one. And you probably may not understand this, and it looks very confusing at first time you do it. But look, just go with it. And in later lessons, it's all going to become more and more clear as we do it. Now, the indentation after the colon is very important, okay? Now, if you're just going along typing a program, pressing enter, it should be okay. But if we take that else statement, so it's just right on the left-hand side and it's not indented at all, and we try and run our program, see how it's all gone red on the else statement? And down the very bottom left-hand corner, it's telling us syntax error. Something's wrong with the else. All right? So what you need to do now is go in there at the front of that else and press your tab key, and it should be right there. Now, what if you tab it too far and you decide you'll press tab twice and you'll put it over here instead? Notice it's done a red squiggle here to tell us something's wrong, that red squiggly underline. If you try and run it, it's just going to point to that and again tell you syntax error, invalid syntax. Now to get it back, rather than do one, you can do one backspace which will pull it back, or you can do shift and tab which will pull it back. Now we don't have any red squiggles now. Now our print hello is a little bit too far over. Now will it matter? Because that print hello should actually be back where this grey line here is. I know this is all very fiddly, but no, it's actually going to work okay. All right, but strictly speaking, that should be pulled back and tabbed across to there so that they line up like that, and then it will work. So if our name is Caddy, should have been Kathy, I suppose. Hello, Catty. All right, so that's all that bit done. Okay, so like we said, Python's very fussy about that indentation, and if that else is pushed too far across, you do get that red squiggly line. Oh no, what we didn't show you was if you mouse onto that red squiggly line too, it'll tell you what the error is. Syntax error, invalid syntax. Well, it means you've done something wrong or it's not pushed in enough, okay? Now, what if we spelt something wrong? What if we took that else statement and we had ELS like that? Notice it squiggled it because it doesn't recognize else. What if we thought, oh, yeah, Passy was talking about otherwise, so we have to type otherwise in. Notice it doesn't recognize otherwise, so that's no good either. So you've got to make sure it's right in the correct spot there, and it's a, see, Python's even helping us there. It suggested it should be else, so if we double click on it, Python will do the else for us. Okay, so this you'll just get used to and it'll be fine. Now running the Python program is showing you that. Use the green arrow. You can put your name in here and you can get the output. Now, sometimes Python will get jammed up and it won't be working. So it is a bit buggy now and then, and you might have to run the program a couple of times, although when we put nothing in, it ran first time okay. But we have found that it's a little bit inconsistent. Well, it is a freebie after all. But 9 out of 10 times everything's fine. Now we can also run the program externally, all right? So we've made this. So let's save it. We need to go File, Save As. And we'll just save this as hello program. This was the video version. Okay, and just leave the .py on there. Navigate to where you want to save it to in your own folders, just like save your Word document or PowerPoint, and we've saved that now. And we'll run it, which should make a Python executable. We'll just press enter straight away. Told us a blank name is invalid. All right, that's good. Down the bottom left-hand corner. Now, if we go to our folders here, let's have a look. in this folder, and let's go to view up the top here and just look at large icons. See how it's got hello PGM video py. Okay, that was the program we had. Now, if you double click this and run it, it comes up in this little console, if you can see it here. So we just double click that one in our folder to run it, and it's running directly in Python now, and it's saying, what is your name? And it's flashing there asking us to type in our name. So if we put our name in, okay, and we press enter, whoa, everything happened way too quick. It did actually print it out, but it all disappeared way too quickly and we couldn't see it. Okay, so when a program finishes, it just shuts down this little Python box. So we need to do a fix for that. Now the fix is we have another definition, another procedure called finish. And finish program, that should say program, I think. Finish program is input, type the letter F to finish, okay? So we just put an input in here just to hold the program up and delay it. It's kind of a fake because you don't have to type F, you can actually press anything on this. But anyway, so let's do that, def finish. So we need another procedure up here, and we'll have to shift tab back to the end. So this one is a procedure, a definition, and this one is called finish. Finish with a bracket, and then you have to do a double dots as well, okay? So that's how we set it up. Then we press enter, and we just have input, input finish. Let's go back and have a look. Oh, finish program equals input, type the letter F to finish. Okay, so, excuse me. All right, so finish program equals input. So this will stop the program because it'll want to stop to get your input. And we'll just say type letter F to finish. Close the quotes, close the brackets. And we forgot some quotes there. So see how it was putting the red squiggle? Type F to finish. And I think that's all you actually need. And then of course we need to add that routine down the bottom with the master list of things to do. So I want it to do main, and then when it's finished doing the main, we want it to actually do this one called finish, okay? So I've now got two little sub procedures for Python to do. The main one where we're getting people's name and saying hello to them, and also this one here, which is just gonna stall the program waiting for input. And we'll run this in the interpreter first and just show you what happens here. So if we have Jeanette, let's say, it should say hello to Jeanette, and it does down the bottom corner. And it says type the letter F to finish. Well, you can actually just press enter or type any letter, but we'll type F, capital F, and say okay. And the program just finished. So anyway, let's go back to our folders. Here's the latest version of hello program video, 1248. Sounds like it's right. Okay, so let's try it out. So we put in Jeanette. And notice here it said hello to Jeanette, and it's saying type letter F to finish. So we've held it up from closing itself, and when you type the letter F and press enter, okay, then it will close itself. So that's a little Python trick, just stalling the program with another input at the bottom, just so that this executable version here will hang around, okay? So if we put in Billy, it's going to say, hello, Billy, but it stays there for a while with that input and doesn't close up straight away. And that's all that little fixing bit finished. So yeah, get these detailed step-by-step instructions. The results of the 3 runs are here, so you should do a few runs and just check out that everything's working all right. Now, if the Python interpreter is not showing, okay, so this might not be showing up, you need to click on the little Python interpreter thing down here. If we hide that, okay, so if when you run it, see the Python interpreter will pop up, okay, but if it's not showing all the time, so if it's hidden, you can just type. All right, so if you have closed down the Python interpreter, that's okay. You just need to run your program again, and then the Python interpreter will come back and it'll hang around. So that's all good. Okay, so now after a while, the Python interpreter window will pile up with all these previous versions you've ran. So you need to go to Tools up the top, go to Options, IDE Options. On the Python interpreter, clear output before run. Just tick that so it says true. And that way, like ours was saying, Python interpreter reinitialize. It'll only show you the current run and you won't be confused by looking at all these old runs and things like that, which can be confusing. So do the save all of your project. So it's just File, Save As, and then you can find somewhere to save it, and it's saved as a PY file like we showed you. And save your program every 5 or 10 minutes is a good idea. So while you're working on it, you can always just do File, Save As. Now, if you've saved it and haven't made any changes, it won't save. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to type a little space next to Passy on the author to trick it. And then I can go File and Save, all right? So just do that every 5 or 10 minutes, File and Save, just so that you have the latest version in case PyScripter crashes or anything goes wrong with your computer. Now the challenge task, that's why I showed you little Murphy at the start of the video. This is to make this cats and dogs program. Now, often when we're gonna design a program, this is the last thing we're gonna cover in this video, we use a method called writing pseudocode. So what pseudocode is, it's plain English. So we write down in English what are the steps you want to do, and then we try and turn those English steps into the Python code. Or you could be in VBNet and try and turn them into VBNet code, or in JavaScript and turn them into JavaScript code. So here's our pseudocode, or our plain simple English. So in plain simple English, we want to ask somebody to type in either cat or dog, and then we want to check out what they typed in. So if the pet name, so we're going to call the input pet name, if pet name equals cat, we'll get Python to print out meow, and if the pet name equals dog, we'll get it to print woof woof. Okay, now if they don't type in cat or dog, if they type in some other thing like bear or fish or pony, well then we're going to say print you needed to type in uppercase cat or dog. So we've got a third thing here checking for errors and things that have been done incorrectly, which is called a process called validation. If pet name not equal to dog and pet name's not equal to cat, we want to tell them, hey, you should have typed in cat or dog. Now just for the Python coding, just note that you have to use double equals when you're checking for things, okay? So even though in plain English we just say, hey, does the pet name equal cat? In Python you have to write if pet name double equals cat. And for dog name you have to write if pet name double equal dog. If you want to say this, if the pet name's not equal to dog and pet name's not equal to cat, the not equal in Python is written as exclamation mark equals, okay? So to write if pet name not equal dog, to translate that pseudocode into Python code, you have to put if pet name exclamation mark equals dog. So you get that program typed in. It's very similar to the Hello World program, and we're not going to actually show you the answer for the code or anything like that. This is a challenge task for you guys to figure out. The test results should look like this, that a dog will say woof woof, a cat will say meow, and if they type in something like an Aussie jumping kangaroo, or a fish or a bird or any sort of other thing which is not a cat or a dog, it's going to say you need to type in uppercase cat or dog. So yeah, I think if they type in little cat, it'll also pick up that it's wrong and give them this message. And we've got our type the letter F to finish, because this is where we're running it, the finish program, just from our Windows folder in pure Python console mode. Okay, so that's the challenge task, and that's the end of the lesson. So if we just go back to this one now. So remember, our full Python programming course, you've just done the first lesson in the course. Congratulations. The full course is going to be listed at passyworldofict.com, our website /Python, or you can just go to Passy's World of ICT, Google that, get on there and click on the Python tab on the index, and that'll get you in as well, and that'll show you all the courses and show you how you need to do things in order. Okay, so have fun programming with Python. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this useful, and it's a good start for you learning Python. We covered quite a few things today, so look, if you don't understand them, that's all right. It's kind of like watching some sports game in a different country you've never seen them play before. Like, I don't know how lacrosse works. So maybe I was in France and I was watching a lacrosse game and I'm sort of thinking, yeah, I kind of understand a few things about what they were doing, but I really don't get it yet. That's okay. That's how you should be feeling, because it's something brand new. In the later lessons, we'll show you more details and more things, and you'll get the hang of it and how to do it, and it'll all be fine. Don't worry, it's going to all be fine. So give this video a thumbs up and like it, and subscribe to our channel so that you can see when the other Python videos are coming out. Probably going to come out every 2 weeks, although you might be able to put a few out before Christmas and before New Year. Not sure yet. But anyway, if you subscribe to the channel, you'll find out when the new ones come out. So we'll see you then in the next lesson.